To get the Polar Cloud plugin working, we'll start by enabling SSH. You may see an announcement like the one in the top right, but if you don't, you can still do the following. Go to System and click Enable Remote Access. When asked, click Proceed. You'll see notes in the top right telling you that it was a success and the system will reboot. While the system restarts, let's open up a new tab and Google GitHub Polar Robo3D. And you'll see here, for me, it's the first link. Go ahead and click that, and then find Octoprint-Polar Cloud repository. From there, click the Issues tab, and open up the first, #1 plugin setup failing to install cryptography. We'll leave this open and go check on the Pi. It looks like it's back up, and it has the startup wizard. You can read the note and then click Next. I'll choose here to enable access control. I just enter a username and password and then click Next. Read more in the text above to see if you want to do that. This is the important part. Here we'll be enabling SSH. This allows us to talk to the Pi remotely. It talks about the username and password. That's just good to note for later use. We'll be using that. Click Finish when you're done. The Pi should restart again. If at any time the system seems hung up or you can't reach it any longer, just reboot the printer. Just give it a little bit to make sure that it's not in the middle of a command. Once the system has rebooted, we'll open up an instance of terminal. On a Windows machine, you'd be using PuTTY, but the steps are mostly the same. So I'll be typing SSH Pi at my IP address. Click Enter. It'll ask you for the password. The password was mentioned earlier. It's Raspberry. And then we're in the system. You can see. I'll move it so I can see both, but I'll be opening up that GitHub issue page from earlier and just copying over the source code. So first we need to get into that environment. That's done. And then we're running the super user do apt-get update. This will take a little bit. I sped it up so you don't have to watch it all. And we're done. The last thing I'll do here is install the dependencies. You can run the last two with the PIP commands, but those are done automatically when you install the Polar Cloud plugin, so it's a bit redundant and no real need to do so. We'll let this one finish. This one took a while, so I took some out as well. And once that's done, you can just quit terminal or PuTTY. And let's go back to Octoprint and restart. So wait for that to reboot, give it some time, and once we're back up, we'll be heading to Settings, and then Plugin Manager, click Get More, and just type Polar for Polar Cloud, and click Install. So this is the part before that would have failed for you because of the cryptography issue. That should now be fixed. Give it a minute to run through everything, and then click Restart when it's done. Click Proceed, and the server's rebooting in the background. So once it's done, head to the Polar Cloud plugin and register your printer as a Cartesian. It's asking for your Polar user email and your PIN. Log into the Polar Cloud if you haven't done so. Click the account bubble in the top right and click Settings. Your email that you're logging in with is there, and your PIN is below to the right. We'll need both those. Copy those back in. And click Register. You'll be given a serial number, starting with OP for Octoprint, and then unique ID for your printer. Let's head back to the Polar Cloud, click Make and Printers. And I have a number of printers, so it gets lost in the mix. But here we see that my Robo3D C2 is on the cloud, ready to print and reporting a reasonable extruder temperature. So a few more things once you're there. Click the build plate and click printer. We'll be entering an X length, Y length, and Z length of the following. Mine has already been done, but this just makes sure that your preview is correct. We'll also want to create a config for the printer. So whatever one you have now, click duplicate, enter text for a new config, and then all that really needs to be changed to make things hum is go to G-code and remove any of the sort of G28 commands or resetting of the extruder. Right now all you'll see I have is fan off and then setting the bed and extruder temperature.